All right, we have officially reached week 16 of the NFL. This is final time. This is a time where you decide if you're going to the playoffs or if you're missing out on the playoffs. I am so hyped for this upcoming week. Last week, I didn't really watch much football, mainly because on Sunday, I went to go see this movie. Gonna have a full review on my channel. Probably already do on my main channel. Go check it out. But it's a really good movie. But I went to go see it, so I didn't watch much football. I watched all the highlights, so there were a couple good games. There were a couple great games last week, so I'm very excited to see what will bring to us this Saturday and this Sunday for the NFL. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in the playoffs. I am so very excited for all these things. So without further ado, tell me down below, is your fantasy team, are they in the semifinals? I didn't even make the playoffs. I didn't even win the toilet bowl. So, cool. But also, tell me, how is your NFL team doing? I want to know all that and more. And let's get started with the first game that I'm going to talk about. Not Thursday Night Football, Rams and Saints. Rams already won. I would have gone for Rams anyway, so that would have counted for me, but I didn't predict that one. Bengals and Steelers is the first one. Both these teams played last Saturday. They're back playing this Saturday. Bengals are a team that they didn't look good a lot of the game, but then they came out of it and they were like, wow. Jake Browning, I undoubtedly think he is better than Joe Burrow. I think that he is a much better quarterback than Joe Burrow. Has been playing absolutely great. And when I brought that up to one of my friends who is a Bengals fan, he got so mad at me. I'm not even going to lie. But I do think he is a great quarterback. The rest of the team has all these big players, and they're just playing really good football. They haven't lost a game, I think, since Jake Browning became the starter. They maybe lost one the first game Jake Browning was a starter. But meanwhile, the Steelers are on a slump. They haven't looked good in multiple weeks. They did back-to-back weeks, losing to 2-10 teams, and then the Steelers lost last week to the Indianapolis Colts. They're not looking good. I think they're going to skip out in the playoffs, and I think this Bengals team, who is fighting for that playoff spot, they want it, they need it. I'm going with the Bengals to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers over this one, which kind of sucks. You know, Steelers were doing good. They looked strong after they fired Matt Canada, and then they lost 3 straight. I'm beginning to think Canada wasn't the problem. All right, last Saturday game, Bills at the Chargers. Chargers let 63 points dropped on them. Nobody, not a single person on earth expected the Raiders to drop 63 points on the Chargers. But here we are. Obviously, got Brandon Staley fired. I thought it was funny because instantly I knew, and like through the whole day I was like, where's this announcement? Where's this announcement? And it came out, I was like, oh, there it is. So it was pretty obvious that was going to happen. Meanwhile, the Bills killed the Cowboys. They beat the Chiefs. They are going off right now. This is another team like the Bengals. They started out rough. They did not look good the first half of the season. But now they're back, and they are fighting for this playoff spot. They want the playoff spot. They are not going to slow down. For a Chargers team who's now without a head coach and without a quarterback, they now got Easton Stick, which is literally a brand of hockey stick. It's not looking good for the Chargers this year. I think their season is completely over. Disappointing team. They're the most disappointing team that I've had all year, and that's including the Jets. I think the Chargers are the most disappointing, but I'm going Bills win this one. All right, starting our Sunday games, Christmas Eve. Then we got a couple games on Christmas. Excited for that one, too. The Commanders at the Jets. The Commanders, I didn't pay attention to that game whatsoever. I didn't even watch the highlights of that game. So, they lost. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I didn't even know the Commanders only have 4 wins. I thought the Commanders were better than that. Okay, they're a team that I'd never really pay attention to, but they're also playing the New York Jets, who come off of Zach Wilson, AFC Player of the Week. He's so good, guys, and then he goes off and lets Miami drop 30 points on him. It's okay. It's Miami. I feel like the Jets are more of a hit or miss. They more miss than anything, but they're more of a hit or miss team than anything. Zach Wilson can play good football, but most of the time he plays bad football. The Commanders, however, doesn't look like they're having a good season. Doesn't look like anything. And the Jets, who they're out of the playoffs, but they're still fighting, still want a couple wins. And Aaron Rodgers don't look like he's getting back. But I think if they get a quarterback, they have the talent that can do something here. I do think the Jets are going to win this one. But I mean, the Jets are just another disappointing team like the Chargers. The Lions and the Vikings. This is going to be a good game. It sucks because for a minute there, as a Vikings fan, second favorite team there. Chiefs are obviously my favorite, but they're my second favorite team. I got a little bit excited when they were doing good first for a little bit in the season. Then they started going off, and now they're doing bad, and then we blew a lead to the Bengals. We're not good. We're not making the playoffs, but we're playing the Lions team, who has their 10th win. They played phenomenal last week. I kept saying that, you know what, I like the Lions this year, but they keep losing these games that they should be winning. They proved again last week when I thought they were going to lose. They proved again, you know what, we are that team. And they came out here and they destroyed the Broncos. Meanwhile, they're playing a struggling Vikings team that can blow leads and only get 3 points an entire game. It's a bit rough for Vikings and Vikings fans alike. So I'd go Lions over this one. I want the Vikings to win. I will be there cheering for the Vikings, but I don't think they're winning this game. Browns at the Texans. The Texans, surprise team. They don't got quarterback. 2 of their star wide receivers are out for the season. Oh, wait, I think Nico Collins coming back. One of their star wide receivers is out for the season. They are dead. They were dead. And then they come out here and they beat the Titans last week, showed a bit of a sign of life, and they showed a sign of life. Meanwhile, the Browns are a surprise team. It doesn't matter what's been thrown at them. They lose their star running back. They lose their star quarterback. Well, not a star quarterback, but they lose their quarterback. They're losing all these players, and they keep coming back and winning games to where officially they are 9-5. That is good. That is good. These is a team that I think can run deep into the playoffs. Depends on who they're playing first. I think they're actually scheduled to play Kansas City first, so obviously I'd go Kansas City. But, I mean, not playoffs. But I think they can win the playoffs, and they are a team that's still in this. Texans are still in this as well, standing at 8-6. They still got a chance. Even though they're riddled with injuries, they still got a chance. So this is going to be a game that they're fighting. I think the Browns are going to make the playoffs, but the Texans still want to make it. And so I think that the Browns are going to win this one, though. The way the Browns have been playing, they are one of the most surprising teams this year, one of the best teams this year, and they are hands down going off. Meanwhile, the Texans, they're a team that they did barely beat Titans, but they came out and fought, and they still want to make these playoffs, and they will make the playoffs, but they're not going to beat the Browns this week. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. I hope they do, but they're not beating the Browns this week. Packers and Panthers. The Falcons are a team that I absolutely love watching because, like I say, they either go off or they collapse, and they collapsed last week against the Panthers. Gave them the second win of the season. Now they're playing Green Bay, who Green Bay lost a tough one last week. They started playing a bit rough. Tom Grassi's losing his mind on Twitter, but I feel like the Packers have the perfect opportunity to come back. I know I say this every week. They're playing the Panthers. Panthers suck. Every team that plays them that is actually comprehensible, not the Falcons, they have a chance. And I don't know what happened to the Texans that one week. But the Packers, they have a chance to turn things around a little bit. They are currently standing at the record of 6-8. I don't think they make the playoffs. Maybe if they win out, a couple things can happen. I don't think they're out of the playoffs just yet. But they could fight for it. I don't think they're making it, but they could fight for it here. They can try. And what a perfect game schedule matchup against the 2-win Panthers that are absolutely atrocious to watch. Packers are going to walk all over them. Seattle Seahawks at the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are a team I was like, you know what? They looked pretty good Monday night against the Dolphins. Coming back, played really good football. Meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks, they're a team that I was like, yeah, I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles. But they did it. This Eagles is a team that struggles. This not only shows what the Eagles are, but the Seahawks have played 3 back-to-back star-studded teams. The Dallas Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Philadelphia Eagles. They are here, and they have fought every single one of them and finally got the win last week against a Titans team that proved me wrong last week. I still don't like Titans. I still cannot stand the Titans, but they really did prove me wrong last week when I said that Titans were going to beat Houston. Really did prove me wrong, and I do think that they're not going to beat Seattle, who's one of the most surprising teams and that can keep fighting. And I think Seattle's out of the playoffs, standing out 7-7. Actually, they're not out of the playoffs. They are still fighting for that 7th seed. There's a lot of teams fighting for the 7th seed. But Titans are out of the playoffs. Seahawks are going to fight, and I think they have a perfect matchup this week against Tennessee. Indianapolis versus Atlanta. Atlanta is a team, like I said, they utilize their weapons. They are good to go. They are a great team. But most of the time, they don't utilize their weapons. So most of the time, they are not a great team. That's struggling. The Colts, for a matter of fact, are actually surprising team standing at 8-6. They lost Anthony Richardson. You thought they were going to be great with Anthony Richardson. I thought he was going to be Rookie of the Year, and there goes Dr. Strange. My bad. Oops. Hold on. But they lost Anthony Richardson. you thought they were screwed. Gardner Minshew's pulled them out of the gutter. They're here. They are here to play, and I think they can also clinch a playoff spot too. They're playing the Falcons 6-8. They had a spot to make the playoffs. I think they're out of it. They're in a division that is real tough between Tampa Bay and who else is in their division? Tampa Bay and who? Actually, I'm a bit confused. The Saints. And with a loss for the Saints this week, the Saints stand at 7-8. Gives the Buccaneers, who we will talk about that the next game, playing the Jaguars. The Jaguars are a struggling team. This is a great spot for the Buccaneers to take a hold. And with the Colts struggling, and I think the Indianapolis Colts going on fire and making a playoff spot, I think they're going to walk all over Atlanta again. Jaguars and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are a team that I was really disappointed in. I was I like them, but they are still kind of a rebuilding team. They're now standing at 7-7, leading their division, can get it with a win here, and they're playing a Jacksonville team that's lost 3 straight. They were one of the best teams in the league, and now they are really struggling and could easily be knocked out of a playoff spot here in the next 3 weeks. Now that they're playing the Buccaneers, who's a team that has been on fire, they've been playing on fire after a rough start to the season, they're coming in here. They want a playoff spot. They want this playoff spot. They want the number 1 seed. And I think with a win here, it could officially clinch it. I do feel like with a win here for the Bucs, they are in. I don't feel like any other team is capable in this division of coming back and the Buccaneers to be losing. I feel like the Buccaneers are in. They need this win here. They're playing a Jacksonville team that's struggling. Jacksonville also needs a win, but I'm actually going Tampa Bay Buccaneers on this one. Not only do I want them to win, but I think they're more capable of doing things than the Jacksonville Jaguars are. The Cowboys and the Dolphins, and I know I say this a lot. Dolphins are great when they're not playing good teams. They did kind of prove me wrong against Tennessee, but they came back into Jets. Of course, Jets aren't a good team, but they killed them. Cowboys last week, I said they were the second best team in the league. They got killed against Buffalo, proving that they are. And for some reason, I feel like the Dolphins can come in here and beat the Cowboys. I feel like the Dolphins and the Cowboys game will be intense, but I feel like the Dolphins can come out of this one with a win. I know I say that they never beat a team over 500. That is true. They do not beat teams over 500. They haven't once this year. But to play on the Cowboys team, who didn't look good last week, they could obviously come in here and do good. This is my random pick. This is my most unpredictable pick. But I do feel like the Dolphins can get the win against Dallas Cowboys. I do feel like if they utilize their things, play it well, they could. It's going to be a defensive matchup. It's going to be an offensive matchup. It's going to be a great game, hands down. But I feel like Miami could get the win. This is going to be my unpredictable pick of the week, though. The Arizona Cardinals at the Chicago Bears. Bears with a loss last week, standing at 5-9. I think they're out. My brother keeps saying, no. If we went out and a couple things happened, we can still make the playoffs and be 8-9. No, buddy. You can't make the playoffs, man. You're out. Chicago Bears are out. But Cardinals are even more out. Did they get the win last week? I don't think so. No, they did not. And so they're a team that they have the talent. They lose games quite often. I think that the beginning of the season, I really do like Josh Dobbs, but it kind of showed what Josh Dobbs does and struggles that he does. And so I feel like they're a team that is rebuilding. I think they got talent. I think they have an option to become another good team next year. This year, they're kind of just out of it. And I think they're kind of throwing away the game. So I do think that the Bears, who are still fighting, they still have like a slight 2% chance to make the playoffs. They're still fighting here. I think they're going to win. But the Arizona Cardinals are a team that I think it's wise to lose out and try to get a higher pick in the draft this year. Sunday Night Football, Patriots and Broncos. Broncos have a huge opportunity here. They pretty much got destroyed last week against the Detroit Lions. Now they come out here against the New England Patriots. And the Patriots are a team, looked solid the first half against Kansas City, honestly. Gave me a little scare there. Then they kind of threw it away. And Matthew Judon had the balls to go and say, oh, it was all the refs' fault. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. You can't, like, where's the fine for Matthew Judon? Like, seriously? Like, Mahomes can't criticize the ref, but freaking Matthew Judon can? I'm sorry. It's it's rough. But the Patriots aren't a good team. Broncos have a huge chance to turn it around. Even though the Patriots did look good against the Steelers, a good first half, I kind of feel like this could be a game. I still feel like the Patriots are a terrible team, and I think it would also be wise if they lose out. And so I think that the Broncos still fighting for a playoff spot, standing at 7-7. Still being a team full of talent, can still make it. I think they are also going to win this week. Raiders and Chiefs, we're kicking off our Christmas games. We have 3 Monday games, one at noon, one at 3:30, and one at night. Raiders and Chiefs, with a win here, we clinched the division, and I think we're getting the win here. We're playing the Raiders. Obviously, we lost against the Bills. We lost against the Eagles. Who was the other team we lost to? Oh, the Packers. We're not playing good. I don't think we're a great team this year. In fact, the way that the playoffs are shaping out, I do think that playoff Mahomes can make the Super Bowl, but the way that we're playing the regular season is not doing good. We're playing the Raiders, though. Raiders scored 63. I think they stand a chance, but I'm going with my soul. I'm going with my soul, my power of being a Chiefs fan. I'm going Chiefs on this one. We can clinch the division here, guys. We can do it. We can clinch the well, we already clinched the playoffs, but we can clinch the division here with a win. And I think we can do it on Christmas Day against the Raiders. Raiders are sometimes incapable, sometimes capable team. But I think we can do it, guys. I think we can do it. And I have faith in us that we can do it. Come on, I'm going Chiefs for the win here. But I'm really nervous for this week. Giants and Eagles. Tommy DeVito got injured last week. Like Sin the Mafia, ever bomb decided to injure my boy Tommy DeVito. Like how you don't just injure the good old Italian boy? You just don't do that. I'm sorry. Playing the Eagles, lost 3 straight. I absolutely love it if Giants killed them. I used to love Jalen Hurts. I lost all respect for him this year. Not only because he beat the Chiefs, but because they are saying that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But he hasn't really thrown a touchdown. All he does is get pushed in by sweaty guys. He's not... I think he's one of the most overhyped quarterbacks here. I'd love it if the Giants win. I don't think they are. I think that the Sheagles are going to beat the Giants, but I would love it if the Giants win. I'm rooting for the Giants, but they can be a good team, but they're still incapable. They were in for the wild card for a minute, though, but staying at 5-9, I think they're out. Eagles are still going to make the playoffs, but I really hope they're ousted immediately. And our final game, I think one of the most interesting games, the 1 seed in the AFC and the 1 seed in the NFC. San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. How many times do I have to say that the Niners aren't losing a game, though? The Niners are one of the best teams. They are the best team in the league. They are a phenomenal football team. Now they're playing the Ravens, who is a good team. They have the best team in the AFC, but I still feel like they're not as strong as the Niners. The NFC has some of the best teams, and the Cowboys, the Niners. I'm not going to include the Sheagles on the list, but I think the AFC is a struggling division this year. But I do feel like the Ravens are easily the most comprehensible team on that division. So I do think Niners are going to win this one, but it's going to be a game, and these both are the 1 seed and can potentially be a Super Bowl rematch coming up. This was my Week 16 NFL predictions. We're at the end game, guys. Teams have to make the playoffs. We have to start winning some games. Let me know what your team is. Are you guys making the playoffs? Is your fantasy team in the semifinals? Do all that and more. Go check out my main channel for some movie content. Go check out my other prediction videos. And with that said, thank you guys for clicking on this prediction video. And make sure to subscribe. Join the army. Peace out.